this is Tim Sedano, host of Paranormal Insight. Tonight, we'll be speaking with Marie Kayali. She is an experiencer, certainly a witness to all kinds of paranormal happenings, including UFOs, hauntings, orbs specifically, and strange things that have happened to her own person. So, without further ado, Marie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks very much for having me on. It's great to be here. Thank you very much.
So let's start at the beginning of this whole process, just for a few seconds. What was your first recollection that something paranormal had happened to you, and what happened specifically?
First, I'd say would be I don't know if it was a recurring dream, but I was only 3 or 4 years old, and I had this experience of a witch, a really ugly witch that would come and sit on me and strangle me with her hair. Sometimes she was coming out of the ceiling, and the
With her
hair would have a life.
hair?
The
Her
hair would have a
hair?
life of its own. Yeah, the hair
What?
would come down, the life of its own, and go around my neck and like
Like
pulling me out.
vines or something? Oh man.
It was just, it's just so horrible. It's like something out of a horror movie. But
Yeah.
I had that quite a few times, and I was screaming, scared of this witch. And I was also saying there was people coming out of the wall. So my family didn't know if it was ghosts or whatever, but it was just this witch used to really scare me. It wasn't every night, it was now and again. So I wouldn't be screaming every night, but occasionally I'd wake up screaming, saying this has happened. And the family, I grew up in Ireland, so they're all Catholic over there, and
Mm.
especially in those days. And everything is either the devil or an angel, and no in between, or ghosts. Everything is ghosts. So aliens never came into my mind or anything at that stage. I was too young, I suppose. But that happened a few times, and I was saying people coming out of the wall. And my mum did call the doctor on 2 occasions to see if I had a high temperature, was I sick, coming down with something, and they always said no, she's fine. Is there any
Wow.
madness in the family? Is there any insanity in the family? I think one said once, but there's not. Nobody in my family has ever been hospitalized for psychiatric reasons or anything like that. So that went on, and my family, my mom's family, I grew up with my mom's sisters. They were teenagers basically. My mom was the oldest, second oldest, so I was the only child around then. So I grew up with adults for a few years, and I was always very cheeky and inquisitive. So they sort of believed me, but were very scared. They're very superstitious. I'm very scared of ghosts and supernatural things, and things would happen like the doors would open by themselves.
In your
um
house?
Lights in my house, in all of my houses where I've lived, I've had it now, especially this one here.
Oh, okay.
Doors open, and I've caught that on video a few times. It's just you're sitting there, and suddenly the handle will go down the door, not very violently, just gently,
Just
and just open,
yeah. Huh.
and there's no way it can open. So I would get this on film a few times. It's happened twice now today, so I'm gonna sit here with the camera on until it happens again. Because it's like in little spurts. It'll happen 3 or 4 times in a row. So I know once it happens once, I'll get my camera out. Same if I see an orb, I'll know that they're there, and I'll get my camera out. That's how I'm able to catch things. I know it looks, how she always able to catch things on film, but it's because it's happened already a few minutes before I've seen one, and I'll get my camera ready just in case to see another one. And I normally do. It's so
Yeah,
that went on.
your videos are amazing. A lot of them are just I was like, what is that?
I'm a bad photographer. If I was a better photographer, they'd be a lot better. But I bought a new camera a few months ago. I haven't used it yet, a Lumix, and I thought, for quickness sake, with the zoom, it'll be good. Oh God, it's a waste of time because the settings, you have to set the video, you have to set the setting for video and picture,
Yeah,
and if you don't,
it
I
turns
ruined
into
so many by
garbage.
not
Yeah.
changing it back. It
I'm a
was a
filmmaker. I know
nightmare.
exactly what you're talking about. I use a lot of
So I ruined
DSLRs
a few
too.
like that.
Yeah.
When I was 6 years old, my mum was washing me on my leg, and she found a little lump. Took me to the doctor. Long story short, took me to the hospital, got an X-ray, and they said there was something in my leg, like some piece of metal or debris or something.
Is
So
this
they
from an
said they would take
injury
it out.
or?
No, it was nothing. I was only six, and there was nothing, no entry point on my leg or any cuts or anything like that. And they tried to take it out, and they cut my leg, and where the X-ray showed that it was. But when they opened it, the object had moved around to the side of my leg. So they cut me a second time there. So there's two slits on my leg like this, side by side, where it moves around. So my mum, she thought it was a bit strange, but then the doctor said, "Oh, it's nothing. It probably got in there somehow," and that was the end of that. But it's always in the background. My mum was always saying, I was in hospital for 3 days actually, so they
Mm.
bought me lots of presents and made a big party for me and all this. Yeah. So I remember all the toys coming home. But then nothing really happened. When I was about, I think I was about 8 or 9, we did, me and my friend, we were going through a field to school or home from school, I can't remember which. And I saw this little object in the sky behind us. Well, I turned around for something messing about, and I saw this coming towards us. And I thought it was a plane first. And we started looking at it. And then as it got closer, I realized it was a triangle shaped
Oh.
black, dark silver, black object. So we started looking at it, and it started like just going really slow with us, over us. And we knew it wasn't a plane. And then it just flew off, and that was the end of that. So
Huh.
that was the only one I remember from that long ago. Um, the next thing, we had a lot of lights going on and off, loads of things like that. Some orbs would appear in my photographs if other people took photographs of me, and the lovely orb in the side of just here or something like that. So I have a few of those photographs that look really nice. And but I never saw them flying around. They would just turn up in a photo. You think, is it the camera? Is it the light? Is it this?
Is it a
But
particle of
it's
dust or
always,
something? Yeah,
yeah,
right.
it's always at the back of your mind. It looks very round and lovely and shiny, and could it be the light? So I had a lot of those here and there, but I never saw them flying around ever. And until my mother died, about, when did she die? 2013, my mum died.
Mm.
So we were at the house, and my brother had taken a picture the day before I arrived, and my mum just said we were getting the funeral and all that ready. So my brother said he took a picture of a lovely green orb, and I said, "Oh, I'll try." So I started trying with my camera, and I was picking up lovely orbs. So since that day, I started filming every day. Then anyone hearing these orbs coming out all over the place. And we thought it was because my mum just died and maybe there was spirits around or something. But we knew it was connected to my mum somehow. That because she just died and we never saw them before, like that, actually seeing them with our eyes flying, not loads, one at a time.
Yeah.
And then we'd see another one and try to get them on film. And we did capture loads.
Oh, okay. So you're seeing these orbs live with your naked eye.
But yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That's how I
okay.
managed to film them. That's
Okay.
how I get them on film. So this only happened since my mom died. As I said, I never saw it before. And then I went back to London then when everything had died down, the funeral was over. And I started filming in my house in London, my flat in London. And, hello, anybody there? And lovely blue ones would fly out. So that's when I started filming the orbs, like all the time. I noticed then
Gotcha.
they're everywhere. In the garden, I got some in my garden, and there was one lovely big white one. And I took a picture of this side and followed it as it flew down the garden. So I've got two pictures, one here and sort of one there, exactly the same thing. So you can tell I'm seeing it with my naked eye.
That's
And there's quite a
crazy.
few out in the garden,
That's
quite a few.
rare. I mean, normally
Yeah,
it's I only heard of that happening to maybe one or two other people.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
One of them
know
was
that.
Eric Salagi's another podcaster, and the other is my partner JJ Rose, who's a psychic.
Yeah.
So you expect her to see stuff. Eric, not so much. He's kind of a meat and potatoes guy like me. And but he saw this grand orb, and I think he
Oh, they're
went
just
to a
amazing.
graveyard. And but I have never seen one live. I knew one went through me once on a case I did
Yeah.
when I did
Wow.
an investigation, but I only saw that on playback. So
Did you feel anything at the time?
yeah,
No?
yeah, I felt little itches, little tingles. It's like, oh yeah, it,
Right.
it went into
Like a
my
bit of
back.
energy or something, is it?
A
Like
little tiny
energy or something
electric
like that?
shock, maybe you can call it,
Yeah.
but it was a tingly little sensation. It went from my back, out my stomach, and then through my arm and out the other side.
Uh, I don't know what they are. I think some of them are definitely connected to the UFOs because I've filmed UFOs and then there'd be an orb would come down sometimes as well. And but there was one lovely red orb. I filmed in my mother's room, and
Oh, that was one
that
you
was.
showed me. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fantastic.
And then I went to Sri Lanka. I was there for a year, and there was one night I saw the red orb in my room. I was in bed in the mosquito, that thing. And then I put my camera on and I said hello, and it flew out. And somebody on Twitter, one of my followers, saw the orb, and they looked for faces in them and with different filters and things. And she finds the faces in most orbs, really clear faces. So she found this face in this red orb, and when she sent it back to me and I looked at it, it's absolutely my mum's face. There's no doubt about it. It's her.
Oh,
I've sent it to all the family, and everyone agrees. My God, that is your mum. You can't
wow.
mistake her.
How long ago after this was, how long?
After she died,
Yeah. How long was it
two
after she died?
years. Two
Two.
years. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
That's unique. Okay. That's
And that
very
means she
unique.
was with me in Sri Lanka because I lost my daughter, so I was grieving, and I
Yeah.
went to Sri Lanka for peace and tranquility and the meditation and all that,
Yeah.
and it really did help. And that means she was with me over there. I had lots of experiences over there,
That's,
loads,
yeah.
and she was there with me. So I
That's
didn't really know that
fantastic.
till just this year because she only found the face this year, and I took that orb in 2016. So
Wow.
I know definitely now some of them are connected to the spirit world. There's no doubt in my mind. That's the
Right.
second one I filmed with my mum's face in it. There's another one I didn't send you that. It's a gold one, and my brother was filming in my mother's room. I had my mother's room, so I was in there, and he was filming. And there's a lovely gold orb over my bed, and it just appears for running the film, and it just appears for a second, and oh, but it's beautiful. And there was a face in that, and it looked like my mom, but it looked like an ancestor as well, like a great uncle or something. Because you can see they've got a big prominent nose. That's how
Oh,
we
okay.
can't mistake my mom and the way she has her hair. She used to have a curl at the side, and she'd curly hair, and she'd pin it all up with a couple of curls hanging down. So that's why
Gotcha.
you can see it in the photograph essentially that it's even got the curl at the side.
Oh,
It's
fantastic. I
amazing.
need to look closer at that. That would be
Yeah.
fantastic.
So I was surprised with that. I was a bit shocked, but it confirmed something for me. And my mother has been coming back to try and give us messages.
Oh, yeah?
Had a few things now. Oh God, there's some story about the marbles. I came down, I started doing my mum's garden. It was during lockdown, and I thought that's what I did during lockdown. Locked myself in the garden, and
Mm.
reconstructed and dug up everything, and did it nice. So I didn't even know there was a lockdown going on, so I lost myself out there. We had a lovely summer that year, and I was sunbathing and doing.
You not only had a lot of spiritual stuff when you were a child, you had the UFO follow you, a triangle, which is
Yeah,
rare as far as sightings go. The triangle
I
didn't
think
really
it's all
become
connected
prominent.
now.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I have
I
this thing
think
called
it's
the
all
paranormal M
connected.
theory that has everything connected. So,
It's
um,
taken me years to connect the paranormal with the UFOs. I know now is connected. It has to be. Because what's the chances of me having all spirits and ghosts and aliens and everything all come to me all at once?
some
I
people are
thought,
really gifted that way. They're kind of, for lack of a better term, magnets. They're just in
why?
tune to this type of thing. I mean, some it takes years to even get a ping. This happened to my cousin. She was meat and potatoes, plain Jane, and then
Yeah.
one day, it was after she had her second child, a couple years after, her her psychic switch flipped on, and she was seeing dead people. To Sorry to quote
But
that
walking
stupid movie,
around?
but she was a medium. She ended up being she was a medium all of a sudden. And it was amazing because she'd be speaking with a client. She does psychotherapy, and then their relative would step through the door. It's like, yeah, like, here's what's going on with him, and would give her insight into the client. It's kind of like a cheat. And she tried
Yeah.
to ignore it for the longest time. And then she finally called me and says, Tim, something's going on. I don't know if I'm going crazy. She told me her story, and I said, I think I know what's going on, but I brought her to my psychic JJ, who's way more in tune about that type of thing than I am. And JJ was able to confirm, yeah, you're a medium. It's just what you do now. It's just part of it, and you
People
can
think I
control
am
it.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I know the aliens have always been in my life. I've always known they were there. I used to say to my mother, aliens created us, and they were trying to get me to go to church and believe in God. And I'm like, no, there's no such thing as God. God doesn't exist. Aliens exist. So I was saying this from a very young age.
Well, you're an
Um,
ancient alien theorist of way back then.
I know there was nothing around in those days except Von Daniken's book, and you go to the library, look at UFO books and things, and
Yeah.
there's like three in the whole big
Yeah,
section.
charity gods and two others.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah,
Are you recording?
you like I said, I think you're in tune to this type of thing because not
Yes, indeed.
everybody is, and it's from a young age, from the womb, I would suspect.
But they don't tell me anything. This is the thing. It's not like I'm getting loads of information. I mean, I've had psychic premonitions and information about people, and like you said about your lady friend there, that she gets information about clients, and I do that as well. And sometimes it's only somebody sitting next to me on the train, and I'll get all this information like two children, married,
Oh
a
wow,
solicitor,
that's
things
good.
like that. And it sounds like a database is going on. Like I have access to a database. It's very odd. And that used to happen quite a lot. I haven't noticed it now because I don't go. I'm out of London now, so I'm not in loads of crowded places, and I haven't noticed it lately. But they used to happen all the time in London when I was on the train, and it used to
The
really annoy me. And I used to put it in the back of my mind, and then occasionally I'd look up and I'd try to say, "Does he look 42? Yeah, he does, and he's got a wedding band. So he must be married." So I'm thinking, is this information correct? I'd love to ask him, is he a lawyer? And then he'd pull out a briefcase with a client list or something like, oh, he's a lawyer. So little things I thought were confirmed to me. And I used to wonder, why am I getting this? But only about certain people, not everybody, just certain people,
I see.
not for everybody. And it's the same if I used to read tarot cards and things like that years ago to amuse myself and read palms and things. I used to just make it up, but things that were coming into my head. But a lot of it was like right and correct. People go, oh my God, how did you know that? And things like that. So
That's
I was
incredible.
just guessing or something like that, or just saying the first thing that came into my head, but it was actually correct.
So
So that's
wasn't
been
the first
there
thing.
for a
So
long
what
time.
you mentioned, just being able to kind of just get a download on people that you were sitting next to on the train, for example.
Yeah.
That actually reminds me of Casey Jones. Casey Jones. I think I may have gotten that name wrong, but an American psychic back at the turn of the century. And he was called the sleeping prophet, but he had the same thing. He could just bam, 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 bam. He would just get the entire itinerary of your life up to that moment
Yeah.
and say, yeah, that
Strange,
that trip you had when you were 3 years old. And it's like that
isn't
did a little bit of damage. You need to do this, that, and the other thing to correct it, or
It's
that
just
kind of thing.
so
It's
I
just
thought to
weird
myself,
things.
yeah,
This dude would have no idea about some complete stranger
it's
tripping
strange,
over a
isn't it?
rock when he was 3. But he called that tapping into when under hypnosis, mind you. He called that tapping into the Akashic Record, and
Right.
apparently that's just cosmic database that everybody's able to tap into, but not everybody can. So something tells me, much like
Well,
JJ, my partner JJ is able to do that too. I think you may be able to tap into that record to a degree.
that sounds very good. Haven't heard of that before, but what it is, it's like for everybody, it's the same in the same order, like name, whatever, occupation, married, single. So I was getting the information like straight from a database. So, like you just said, maybe I have access. It is a database or something like I like a database,
Like a
like you were
database,
saying, cosmic itinerary, whatever you said, something like that. So you never know. I don't really know any psychics at all and never listened to any, so I don't know who you're referring to or anything like that.
yeah.
I
Okay.
wouldn't know.
That's okay. That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, if I were going to make a snap analysis of what you're doing, that sounds like about right. It's like you're tapping into the Akashic record. You're able to just tune into
I
that
must
part of
look
their
that up.
brain. Yeah. So that's
Because
pretty
it's
impressive.
always in the same order, and I just thought that was odd. If I was psychic, I wouldn't get it like that. And I'm thinking, what is someone tapping into something?
That's how Casey, that's what happened to that psychic Casey. He'd get things in a very specific order, name, age.
Really?
where they live, and
Wow.
then he get a download on their history, their life history.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, it was very much like that. It's
I haven't
fascinating.
talked about that for a long time. I haven't mentioned it to anybody for a long time. I've only mentioned it to probably one person that I did that. You just reminded me.
Oh, okay. The but let's. Oh, I'm sorry. You were going to say something?
No, no, go ahead.
Okay. I was going to ask you. Let's dive into the UFOs. Those things have been, uh, for lack of a better term, not
Waiting
harassing
me.
you. I would. They've been following you around though. I mean, since you were
They
6.
really do follow me. It's unbelievable.
Your
But
videos are
that's only
amazing. And they're
it's only
everywhere.
lately, the last few years. But I did get a few sightings right from the late 80s, 90s. I got the odd one in London outside my window, and they would like tease me, go behind the building, come out, go behind the building. And I'm trying to catch pictures all the time, never let me get anything on film, never.
Uh,
Very hard. And I tried for a long time, but these just mess about, for want of a better word.
Psych.
But it's only since 2017, I was out in the garden, lovely day, and the sky was very clear. And there's just a plane going across and the one trail. And I just thought I'd take some pictures. Something made me take some pictures with it. And I never looked at the pictures, took about 20, 25 pictures all through the day for about half an hour. I never looked at the pictures for about a year. And so one day something made me go zoom in on one of the pictures, the first one, and there were five lovely bright orbs in a semicircle just on the left of the trail, contrail. And I thought, oh my God, I could zoom in on them. And they're lovely colors. And I didn't send you any of those because I sent you so many orbs, and that's when I stopped sending the UFOs. I didn't
Also, I'll
send you
take
any
that one.
UFO
That
ones.
sounds cool.
And it's like, they're sort of like uh, plasma. There's not even a physical object. It's like you can see through them, like a bit of cloud, but it's got the lovely colors like turquoise and yellow, and you can see the hue on it and like when you see
Were
a
they
bubble.
reflective in nature or
Not really, no, they're just orbs. I can't explain it even. This is how the orbs are. It's not a physical object. It's like
oh,
smoke in a way, or
okay.
sometimes I do get the orbs that have a one bright light, and I know there's something behind that light, and it's a light that you could say nuts and bolts. But some of them, like the orb, I think I sent you that one in the daytime, and it just goes really bright. That's
Yeah.
not a light. I don't. They're the ones. They're the really bright orb, and you can see through it sometimes, see through. But
Okay.
they're really bright, and they can really shine bright and go dim, bright and dim. So I saw five of those, and then looking through all the photographs, I was taking click, click, click. So as the clicks, they were moving to the other side of the sky and the other side of the contrail. So they
Wow.
were here in the semicircle, then they were here. And I measured the distance between each of them with a ruler, and it's exactly the same in between each one.
Wow,
All the distance.
you caught a pace. That's amazing.
Yeah. And it's the same when they go to the other side, the distance between the spacing between them is the same as well. And then I caught them in different places throughout the sky, but I also caught a lovely little gold craft. It's like a little gold, round sphere shape and a black band going around the
Oh,
middle. I
neat.
can see the front, and it's with an orb as well. And then I saw that craft later on, 20 minutes later, in another photograph. It's that little gold craft. It's with six objects. Now, I think those objects are those orbs.
Okay.
They're very high up. I just thought it was a flock of birds, a little flock of birds. And I didn't take any notice of it for a while. Then I zoomed in on it and I saw the little gold craft. And I thought, well, there's no way it's a flock of birds with this little
That's not
gold.
birds.
So I filmed it with an orb. So I'm thinking those orbs can change the solid craft because these look like little shells,
Mm.
six of those, one was underneath. So that's when I really started to take note of the sky and what was up there and what are they, and taking photographs and zooming in on them. But then they started to come lower, and sometimes I'd be
Really?
out there at night, sitting on my own, maybe make a fire or something, and maybe do a little podcast or something like that, a little chat. And one would come over, really bright light, and I could see them coming from far over there. And I have neighbours. There's a neighbour at the back, and there's neighbours each side. So there's a wall there, a house there, trees all down the bottom of the garden. So I've only got a bit of sky. I haven't got that much sky, and they always come to the same place where I'll see them. There's one space there where I only see from the kitchen window. So every
Oh.
time I'm making the coffee, I'll have a little peep out. So I always expect to see something. I don't know why. I expect to see something there. And sometimes there is. It's like there, you know. I think I sent you to all the green and red lights, that one.
Yes, that was
That one.
amazing.
That was by from the window. I saw from the window. I just saw the red light, really bright, and it was very near. I mean, the camera wouldn't work. It was a zoom, but the zoom wouldn't work. It went onto wide angle. That's why it looked far away. And I
Oh,
was pressing the zoom, and it just would not
it
work.
wouldn't
It
do it.
jammed right there. But that was very close. That was over my garden, and
Oh,
just
wow.
at the tree level. It was right there. And it was, I'm sure it was a triangle shape, but it had the lights on the bottom, like
Oh,
not
okay.
the
Is that what we
this
were saying?
thick
Okay.
like that. So they would have been there
Okay.
on the edge, not the
My
bottom.
first thought when I saw that, I was like, oh, she captured a drone, but the drone didn't move like a drone.
Yeah,
It didn't
it
move
was
like a,
silent as well.
it was,
Oh no,
yeah,
this
and there
is
was no
bigger.
noise. And there, that was bizarre because drones are super loud to start with.
Yeah,
You'll hear it. And the light flicker, I mean, there's an international, here we call it the FCC or FAA, but
yeah.
internationally had those little light flickers, even on drones, and they weren't there. There's just the green and the red, and they'd alternate. And not supposed to do that. It's supposed to
Oh, because I
flash.
saw it for a lot, because I didn't, the camera didn't take footage. So I was watching it and trying to film. So I was actually, I saw it for a lot longer than I filmed.
Right.
And it was just amazing. The light sequence was in my last video when I did a little update. It's on YouTube. I said to them, I'm fed up taking these little spheres, little silver spheres, are so high up. I need something low. I want lights. I want big lights. I want this. I want that. And the next one I get is with red and
That's
white
amazing.
lights and green.
Tell them to land in your backyard so you can.
Well, I am moving to Spain soon, and I'm buying some
Oh,
land, a little couple of acres, something. So I'll have some fruit trees and a little bit of to
nice.
grow my own. So I'll have some space. So I'm hoping to get some a lot over there because they do follow me definitely. They were in
Apparently,
Sri
yeah,
Lanka.
they followed you. They were in Sri Lanka as well, weren't they? If I remember your
I
story.
they followed my plane for. I didn't even see the footage for a year later. I just took the footage. I like taking footage from the plane. Sorry.
Mm.
And I took this it was a little silver sphere, like just came out. I was out the window, and it was right in the middle. It goes to the center. It knows where the camera is. They do. They know everything. They're so clever. They know. They read your minds. They know what you're thinking. They know your move before you make it. It's
Oh, yeah.
amazing the timing and everything of these things. But I saw this sphere, and I didn't even know till later. Then I took another film of the villa when I got there. You know, this is the new villa, and the sea was there. It was lovely, and taking the villa all around. And they have an upside down moon. We don't have it here, but their moon, present moon, is like that.
Yeah.
Ours is like this, you know. And I
Right.
thought, oh, take some film of this cute moon, and there was an object under it, like quite a big sphere that I didn't see at the time. That means
Oh.
they followed me on the plane. I had two lots of footage because I got two planes and they were on both. I've got
They
footage
follow
of
both.
both planes, both planes.
You're
And I
popular.
waited. I was in Dubai for 4 hours, so they knew the time and everything. So they knew what time my plane was, and 4 hours, even 4 hours I had to wait, and
Wow.
then waiting at the villa when I get there. And so I just found all this footage when I came back. I didn't really know.
That's
And
amazing.
I was renting villas all around the island. Like I'd be staying one place a month and move to another place a month. I'm making friends all around. And I'd be sort of in places on my own sometimes. They had housekeepers and gardeners, but they would come during the day and go off. So I had company and friends and everything. I made friends very easy. People are wonderful there, very friendly. So I had no shortage of visitors and getting invites for lunch and things like this. It was great. So I never felt lonely because I went on my own, so I didn't feel lonely or anything. But these UFOs, they were around all the time. The amount of footage I got from there, I had the one of well, two or three of the villas I had the sea at the bottom, and I would take these things over the sea, and you could see them reflected on the sea. I've
Oh,
so many.
very good.
Uh,
That's nice. I like that. That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's really good. So I didn't realize until I checked them all recently how many sightings I did have there, but I have on one SD card, there's over 30 sightings. That was just
Wow.
that
That's
was just like
impressive.
first few.
That's
That's 30 days, over 30 days. Not every day, but on
Yeah,
there
but
on
still,
YouTube.
wow.
Not
So
on
a
YouTube.
month, almost a month solid of UFO
I know,
photos or
just every
sightings.
day they seemed to be there every day. Every day I would see
Wow.
a light, or every
And they
other
like
day.
you apparently.
It's weird, but they're not giving me anything. Well, it has been great. I mean, I do feel lucky. I really do feel lucky, especially some people are trying to get footage and looking every day, and they tell me I'm looking every single day and I've never seen never
I
seen
was
a dove.
I was one of those people until very recently. There's a landmark out here called the Winchester House. Um, it's notoriously supposed to be haunted. So we took a tour. We took the public tour. My group and I we do private paranormal investigations, and we just took the tour and we're just taking photos left, right, and center. And I wasn't even trying. I was just shooting shooting a shot because I like the look of it, right?
Yeah.
And in the upper portion of the frame, there are these rods flying in a
Oh, the
triangular
rods, yeah.
formation. Yeah. So I caught a
Yeah.
couple, like three or four UFOs, and I
Yeah.
saw the exact same type in a photo capture about a week before before my capture. And
I've got one.
I was flabbergasted by that.
Are
Um,
they? How big are they?
Well, and
Would you reckon?
I couldn't tell you because they were at a distance, but
Are they in the sky or down
they were in
low?
the
Or
sky,
in the
and
sky?
they had it was a rod, then another rod, and then a little circle, and then there was another rod, and a little circle. So it was like a bunch of flying indicators, basically. Uh, but it was amazing. It was really an amazing capture. I wasn't even trying. I wasn't even trying. I was just taking pictures of the Winchester house, and
Sometimes
that's
they are by accident. Yeah, I took a few by accident just by taking pictures of the sky, and I'd zoom in and be orbs in there. But then they started coming lower then, and I just have to sit out in the garden. We had really bad weather here this year for summer. It's been raining, so I don't go out. But when the weather's nice, I'll go out, do some gardening, cut the grass, do whatever, and they
yeah,
always come. They always come.
they like you.
Always, I'll get one.
That's amazing. Now let's, to shift gears just a little bit. I wasn't clear on the eye thing. You said something about your eye.
Yeah.
What was that?
I woke up one morning and I'd filmed the UFO the morning. Well, it was the same morning. I went to bed late, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., something like that, 5 a.m. even. And I filmed this. The sun was just coming up, lovely little grey craft outside my window in London. I took the two pictures and it just flew off. It went, and I went to bed. So I was up at 9 o'clock. So I did 4 hours sleep, and just caught my reflection in the mirror, and all I could see was red blood, and
Yeah, I
I
saw
nearly
that.
fainted. I nearly fainted. It was horrible. And I thought, oh my God, I thought I was having a brain hemorrhage or something. That's what I thought because I didn't feel anything. It didn't
Uh-huh.
feel like there was anything in my eye or any damage or just, I felt nothing. It's just if I didn't see it, I wouldn't know it was there. If I didn't
Mm.
see my reflection. And oh, I was panicking. So I called the doctor, quick, this is happening. My eyes full of blood. Is it a brain hemorrhage? Can I come down, please? And he says, come down right away. It's only down the road. So just before I left, I took one picture with my phone. I had this horrible, stupid phone. One picture with that, and I ran out and went to the doctor. And he just looked and he says, "Oh, have you been deep sea diving?" And I said, "No." And he says, "It looks like there's some very strong pressure behind the eye, like diving or something." And I said, "No, don't dive. Not in
Okay.
London anyway." And he said, "Well, have you sneezed really extremely hard, like your heart nearly came out?" I said, "No." So there was no reason for it. He says, "Well, don't worry about it. It'll clear up. It's a burst blood vessel or something. So you
Okay.
don't need any medication, no drops, no treatment, nothing. But it's going to take a while. It takes about 6 weeks." And it did. It took like 6 weeks to
Mm.
heal up. I was just left with the blood. So I said, "What about the thing?" He said, "What thing?" I said, "There's this thing sticking out." And he said, "There's nothing there now." And he showed me the mirror and he said, "There's nothing there." And I said, "Oh my God, I saw something." He said, "I don't know what you saw, but there's nothing there now." And there wasn't anything. So when I got home, we took some more pictures and I zoomed in close up, and zooming in on them, you can see there's a little patch, like there's a little square patch where the thing was, but it must have gone inside or something and it healed over.
Oh,
And
okay. I
that
didn't
quick.
see that because I was looking for something the edge of the eye.
No, it's right in
It
my
was
eye. It's
in
right
the eye.
sticking out,
Oh, I gotta
sticking out
take
the
another
blue
look at
part.
that image. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little V, little metal, looks metallic, silver, little V. And
Okay.
so that went inside my eye. So I had an MRI scans for sinus problems later. I had some bad sinus problems, and they took the MRI. And on my one of my eyes, the lens is missing. The same eye, actually.
The
There's
lens is missing?
there's no lens on one eye, and it shows that in maybe 30 images. There's loads of images on the MRI scan they gave me the CD, and it's got my whole face and all my nose area, and the eyes are in it. And there's no lens, but they didn't see that. I have a friend, a professor friend, that he had a professor in that is an eye consultant. And he said, "I'll get him to look at pictures for you and the photographs and everything." So he looked, he says, "I don't want to get involved with UFO or anything, but I will tell you my opinion anyway." But so I have that in writing, but he doesn't want me to reveal his name, which is understandable.
Yeah,
He's a high consultant somewhere.
gotcha.
So he said that there's all this stuff in my eye. When you zoom in on the picture, it looks like somebody's put some drops in because it's all like a milky color, like in around with the blood as well. And he said that shouldn't be there. It's not, it doesn't look like that's from your eye. It looks like somebody's it's been put there after an operation. You've had an operation on your eye, and that's he didn't say to heal over, but he said it's put in after an operation, maybe to stop any infection, the milky fluid. So he said there was 5 things wrong with my eye. He said my iris was detached from my eye,
Wow.
and the fluid was not homogeneous to my eye. I think that means it's not local to my eye, not
Right.
regular at my eye. And some other things, I don't know what he said, that something like that. But I have that email. And it just made me think, oh my God, that's just another strange thing.
Wow.
But I've perfect eyesight. He said I shouldn't be able to see in one eye. He said, "You should be blind in that eye. You can't see without a lens." But I've looked at all the images. We've looked at all the images, and there's no lens on one eye. You can clearly see them.
Wow. So
I don't know what
you
that
do
would
or you
be.
do I'm sorry. You do or you do not have a lens in that eye currently.
I don't.
And yet you can
And
see fine.
I can see perfect. I don't even wear glasses.
That's a way crazy. And was
Yeah,
that always the case or just after was that
just
after
after
this?
that. Yeah, after that. I don't know. I've never had any trouble with my eyes ever. Never had eye
I mean,
infections,
you didn't
nothing
have
like
any
that.
there was no discharge leaking that you didn't find the
No,
lens sitting on
nothing,
your pillow or something
nothing,
or
nothing, nothing
wow.
whatsoever. As I said, I couldn't even feel anything. I didn't even feel like there was a piece of dirt in my eye. I didn't feel anything at all. I wouldn't know that was there. It just looked awful when I looked in the mirror. Every time I looked in the mirror, I'm like, oh God. It just
Yeah. That was
frightened me
pretty
when every
harsh.
time I saw it. Oh God,
Yeah.
it's still there. But I've also had another thing removed from my jaw as well. I found a tiny little lump there. It was annoying. I thought, what's that in my jaw? So I went to have it analysed. The doctor took an X-ray and he says, "I don't know what that is, but there's a little metal thing in your jaw." And he said, "Did you have any work done?" And I said, "Well, I did have a crown and I had a little pin in." So he said, "Maybe they left some of the pin in there. Go back to the dentist and tell them you want to get this done free. You know, you'll have to pay otherwise." So I went back to the dentist and he said, "I didn't need a pin there. You've got a 2 millimeter pin." He took the x-ray, he showed me, he says, "There's a 2 millimeter pin." He said, "That's miles away from
Oh,
anything
okay.
I've done. It's underneath the tooth, underneath the gums and everything. Tooth is up here, you know."
Yeah.
So he said, "Go back and tell that surgeon I didn't, it's not my fault," sort of thing. So we've gone back and forth. So in the end, he decided to do it for me, the other surgeon. And he's when he opened me up, he said he would save my tooth. My tooth wasn't bad or anything, so he went in under the tooth instead of pulling it out and going in from the top. He went in under the gum, cut my gum, and thought he could just pull it out. But he says when he went in there, he says the thing was entwined with all my facial nerves, and he said his words were, "It's like tiger country in there." He said, I can't really do that." He says, you'd be left paralyzed because I didn't even know this. But all your nerves, he showed me my nerves, little red
Yeah.
threads sort of thing coming
Yeah.
down, and it was just there,
Yeah.
all open. And he said, I didn't see the object, but he showed me the nerves sticking out. And he said, you probably go paralyzed in your face if I damage any of those nerves. I'm afraid I can't do it. So what they came up with, another surgeon as well, they decided they would put a little rubber thing in there, and my bone would grow, cut a piece of my bone out, my bone would grow back, push the rubber thing out, and it would knock this thing away from the nerves. And it actually worked. That's
Oh,
what happened. And I went in for the second time and they were able to take it out. But it took 45 minutes of him digging and scraping. And I don't know
wow.
what he was doing. It was horrible, horrible. And then afterwards, the feeling never came back in my jaw. I was left not paralyzed, but frozen. Like the Novocaine just did not wear off for about four
Oh,
months.
wow. 4
It was
months?
horrible. I was like this. I
Uh,
couldn't eat, couldn't drink, couldn't do anything.
I had
And it just wouldn't come back.
yeah,
It, it,
I had a bout of Bell's palsy that
my
left me
friend gets
paralyzed.
that.
Yeah, it was short
Yeah.
lived, and they gave me the injection for it, and apparently it was the
Yeah,
kind that
she
could
gets a
be.
little bit.
But
Oh, that's
yeah,
so
I was
annoying.
like that too. It was
It's
horrible.
horrible, isn't it?
Yeah,
But this is like when you're frozen, you ever get an injection from the dentist and it's like frozen. It
sure.
just wouldn't come back. And the next day,
Oh,
the next day, the next day. And I did ring the hospital and I said, look, this happened and is this normal? Do I need to come to the hospital? And they said, I'll go back and tell your dentist he's done something. So he just said, sorry, I didn't damage your nerve. He took another x-ray, checked me thoroughly. I didn't damage anything. There's nothing damaged. So you can rest assured it will come back. He said, but as of when, I don't know. He said, but it should come back. He said he read it in the study books that it can happen, 1 in a million. Somebody
oh,
might be allergic to Novocaine, but he's never come across it. And the other two surgeons at the hospital said they never came across it before. Just one of those things that
okay. So it was
but I've
a
never been allergic to it before. I've had treatment before. It was just when they took this thing. And
wow. That
so
is
that's another thing.
bizarre.
So I don't know if I believe in implants. So I've just had those things removed, strange things. I mean, there could be a logical explanation, but I don't know. But I don't even think the aliens need implants. I don't know what the implants will be for because
Tracking
they
system.
find
That
me
would be a
wherever I
guess.
am. You can't hide from these aliens. They find you wherever you are. It's been all my life, no matter where I am in the world, and all these years from since I was a child, and now they're showing me. I mean, they let me see loads of crafts. I've got some pictures of lovely little crafts, and they've got so many in their fleets. They've got loads, but they've got the nuts and bolts ones that you can see it's an actual machine. That you can see it's a craft, and then the other ones that you can see through, and they're beautiful orbs and
Yeah.
oh, they're just amazing. There was one orb came down. I was in the garden. The sky was lovely and clear again. Nothing in the sky, and I just saw this white. It's about the size of a big football, a big ball. Just a white, like a cloud. I thought it was a bit of cloud first. And I looked at it and I thought it was very round for a bit of cloud. So I started watching it, and it turned pink first. Then I could see through it. And then it was like a bubble, just like a bubble. You could see all the translucent
Sure,
shining on it.
sure, sure.
And then it started moving like a slinky with a trail. And I got the photographs of this. And it stopped there and just mesmerized me. And I was just standing watching it. And I felt it was trying to communicate. It really was. It got my attention. I
Yeah.
felt love from it.
Oh, that's
It
nice.
just got me mesmerized. And I couldn't take my eyes off this thing for about 5 minutes and got some on about four photographs. And then when it flew off, it left a little trail, like phew, little white trail. It
That's
was really
cool.
nice,
That's
really
neat.
cool. So there's nothing in the sky. You can see where it was. It just left a little trail, like a little contrail, but
Yeah,
very
that's
small.
fantastic. That's
But I
cool.
felt that was trying to, maybe I'm not open enough for them. I don't know. But I felt it got my attention and I felt it was alive. I really felt that was something alive
In
with a
control
consciousness.
or the craft itself.
Well, the orb, it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was even a craft. I don't
Okay.
know if they put spirits in these and they come down, or they put one of the aliens are in them and they come down, because some of them I can tell it's machine. I just get the feeling that's a drone or something because they've got a lot of drones that they send out. So I
Mm.
think some of them are definitely a drone, and I could feel it. But then other times, the craft is moving like it's alive, like it's
Mm.
actual a living thing. And I'm wondering, is there somebody in that, and the craft merges with the consciousness or something like that?
Oh, could
And I
be.
think that's what happens. I think that really happens. They control them with their minds. And
That
so,
makes sense. I mean, if you're gonna have something that jukes and moves that quickly, yeah, that'll be at the
yeah,
speed of
you
thought,
have to have
basically.
as fast as your mind.
Right.
Nothing moves as fast as that to do. But this is what I find it. I'm very skeptical about them having craft and aliens, the government having crash crafts.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, because I know these beings now and the way they move and the precision, the timing of everything, and they're just split second. They know when I think something like the one in the garden the other day. I was just looking at this plane going across, and I was just wondering, could you mistake that for a ship or something? I don't know. My eyesight's great. That is a plane. You can see it's a plane. It was quite high up. So I was sort of thinking along those lines. And then I said, is anybody up there can hear me? And straight away, this orb, it just came on. Like it just came on. And it flashed 3 times, like flashed like that,
Oh,
and then
neat.
went. And I thought, oh my God, that was instant. It was just instant.
Yeah, no
So
kidding.
how did that get there so quick? So as soon as I say, is there anybody there?
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Well,
And it just came on.
someone's got the beam on you, man.
It's weird.
You're
It's
under,
so weird.
you're being
And then it
focused
came back.
on.
That one came back. I thought, oh, I didn't get a picture, but it actually came back lower down over near me. And it came on really bright. As I
Oh,
think I sent
neat.
you. I couldn't send you that video. It was too large, actually. But it's on
Oh,
my Twitter.
that's
But that
oh,
was
it's on your
just
Twitter.
a few
Okay,
days
okay.
ago. Yeah, that
Okay.
was a few days ago, the last one I took in August.
Good stuff. Yeah,
So
it's
that
hard to
was
keep up on your Twitter. There's a backlog. I was going through it. It's like, wow,
really,
that's a lot of stuff.
I have a
Um,
lot, yeah.
yeah, that was
And no researcher has ever been interested, to be honest. I've never been approached by anyone saying, Marie, can we look at your
really.
story? Yeah, never. I've
Oh,
been
that's
around for
amazing. That
I've been
that
around
you'd
for
think
12
that would be.
years. Yeah, hardly
Yeah.
get any views on my YouTube. Um, had a few run-ins with a couple. I did come forward to somebody 12 years ago, and it turned out to be an absolute nightmare.
Mm,
It turned into calling police for getting restraining orders and everything. He just would
wow.
not leave me alone. He just got obsessed with me and started
Okay.
twisting all my information and telling lies and all that sort.
Wow. Good
So
times.
I kept quiet then. I didn't go to nobody else approached me after that because he sort of probably he just did so many videos about me. He was doing a video every day, and he just made people sick of me, I think. But he was just obsessed. He was really obsessed. So I've had to get a restraining order, so he's not allowed to put anything up about me, no videos, no.
Wow.
But he had call-ins about me and everything, but he was twisting a lot of the information. He's a real doom and gloom person, and he believes in
Oh, I see.
everything. So he was adding his own dialogue to my information.
Right.
And he knew who the aliens were, he knew what everything was. It was just ridiculous. And I was I never said that. I really never said that. So it just caused a lot of people were emailing me and all sorts. And did you say this? I'm like, no, I never said that. Like he said I was an alien one time. I was a hybrid, and we'd say do videos about this. So I never did any more videos, never said anything, didn't do anything myself except for my UFO videos. But I didn't tell anyone what was really happening, how it's escalated. And somebody really needs to look at it, really, like a proper researcher, and look at my footage. And because this is really happening. They
Yeah, I
shouldn't
mean, your
People are
captures
trying to
are
get footage, and they don't get
amazing.
anything. And
Yeah,
I'm just
exactly. But they're
seeing it
following
like
you
that.
left, right, and center. I mean, it would be interesting just to be with you for like a week and just hang out with you. It's like
Yeah,
get
that's
some
what I
fun.
might do when I go to Spain. Do little get people and they can come for an evening or something, UFO watch, something like that.
That's a good
You know,
idea. Yeah,
yeah, because I'll be in the mountains, in the middle of there won't be any lights or anything like that, so it'll be quite good to film up in these places,
that'd be
in
great.
the
Maybe
middle
you
of
can have
nowhere.
Tommy come down.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
He's quite near. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at, so it'll keep me busy as well. I won't get lonely. It'll be quite fun. I'm
Yeah.
planning to meet up with somebody as well. Somebody I know, he's in Louisiana at the moment, and he's filming so many of these orbs as well,
Really?
loads of them. So we actually found each other. He found me, the only other person that's filming orbs, and he's looking for that. And so we've been made good friends. We've been friends for now a few months. So we're planning on that. If we get together,
Are you
God
coming
knows
out
what will
here?
happen. In Spain.
Oh, in
I
Spain.
don't
I
know. No,
see.
I'll go to America. He'll meet me in Spain or Sri
Okay.
Lanka, one of them, rather than me go there. It's nicer. I'd rather go to Sri Lanka. But as I'm moving to Spain, that might happen first. I'm just selling a house at the moment, so it depends if that all goes through. So,
Interesting.
but if it doesn't go through quick enough, I'm taking a holiday to Sri Lanka. So
Oh,
that's
there
why
you
I don't
go.
know at the moment. Yeah.
Right on.
But I love Sri Lanka, so I prefer that. But that was such a spiritual place. I remember there was one beach and the amount of orbs. I think, did I send you that picture? Thousands of orbs in it.
Did you send
Absolutely
me that?
loads. I don't know, I might
I
have.
I
But
don't recall that one.
it was like this beach where I was filming, they had a tsunami maybe 15 or so years ago, and it killed 55,000 people. It's an awful lot of people,
Yeah.
swept everybody away. So everybody there has lost family. Most of their family, more than 3 members, 4 members, 5 members, everyone. It's a terrible shame. But I found that these orbs were appearing in a lot of my photos, but some of them were UFOs. They weren't all
Oh,
like spirit orbs. It was weird. This is
well,
why I'm really thinking now that it's all connected. I think the spirit world is connected to aliens. They control it. I really think that.
that's
So
very interesting.
where does this put God and everything else?
Yeah, no kidding.
People who are believers. I'm not myself. I grew up religious as a Catholic, and then I married a Muslim for 20 years. He wasn't
Wow.
practicing, so I've got a good all round,
Education.
knowledge of
Yeah.
what's going on, and it's not for me. I find there's too many. Even when I was a child, I would ask questions to the teachers and the priests, and they've never. Their answer was, "Oh, we'll do what you're told, and because we say so." So you never
Yeah.
got any answers, and I was just called a troublemaker for asking questions.
Yep.
Oh, not you again. What do you want now? Like still like that.
No, I can understand that. I went to Catholic. I'm Catholic too. I went to Catholic school briefly. It's strange, I went to a Catholic school, peace and love and harmony and all
Yeah.
that, and I got into fights every single day.
Gosh.
I mean, I was not instigating either. They get picking fights with me, but every single day I get into a ruckus of one sort or another. And then I once I
Yeah.
left Catholic school, nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah,
That's odd. I went to
yeah,
the only non-religious school in Ireland after the primary Catholic. When I moved up, got older at 11, I just said, no, I'm not going to Catholic school because they make you go to confession every week, church
yeah,
every week, and everything lessons is prayers. And oh God, it's horrible. They take over. Sorry.
yeah,
It just takes over everything else. And then your mother's pressuring you to go to mass as well. But it's not only that, they have dues and things you've got to attend to at the weekend, and you've got to help the church, and it's just never ending. So I'm thinking, oh no, I just want a bit of fun. I want to go out with my friends. I don't want all this rubbish. So I think a few people felt like that. And plus, I didn't believe it. So I sought
mm,
out, I don't know how I found it, the
mm,
only non religious school in the whole of Ireland, and insisted on going there. Did a
nice.
dance. And I'm not going anywhere if I don't go there.
Mm.
And I ended up going, it was on the other side of Dublin, and like a bus and a train, not local anyway. I had to leave at 7 in the morning to get there.
Oh
It was
wow,
unbelievable, but I went there anyway. It turned out to be one of the best schools in Dublin. It was
fantastic.
trying to be closed down by Parliament and everything. They thought we were all hippies because the teachers were all professors, but there was no religion taught there, and there was no sport there because the headmaster didn't like sports and he was bullied at school. So he said, "Cut that out. We're not going
Oh
to have
wow,
that."
interesting.
But you could join. I was in the hockey team. You could join teams outside the school, but it wasn't compulsory. And no religion at all. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe how the education changes and
Oh,
everything changes when there's no
I do
religion there.
believe I
I
had that
actually
exact same
learned to do
experience.
things. It's unbelievable. It takes up so much time, all the studying for the exams and everything, and all the praying every day.
Mm,
It just takes up so much time. I actually learned about science and things that I was interested in,
yeah.
you wouldn't really be doing. So it turned out to be one of the best schools, and my mom thinks she was responsible for sending me there. She doesn't know it was me. Well, she does. Or
She
she
does
forgets
now.
conveniently.
Yeah.
I sent Marie to the best school in Ireland. It was me doing the dance every day. I'm not going anywhere else.
Right
I was such
on.
a brat.
The I think the thing that stuck with me most about your story is this this magnetism you have for all these different things, all these different paranormal things.
It's all
Um,
adding up. Strange. It's strange, isn't it?
yeah. I don't necessarily see it as strange per se. You kind of have this hidden gift. It's
Wish I
amazing.
found it. It's I'm getting on a bit now.
But you found it. That's what's important.
No, I wish I found. I haven't. See, the thing is, I had a couple of missing time episodes, and I remember very briefly, 2 minutes out of 5 hours missing. So
Wow.
it's not like they're giving me information or I'm learning all this stuff, but I keep asking for answers, and I get a little voice in my head, not a voice, like a little. It's like a little knowing, like you know it from before. When
Mm,
I hear something or they tell me something, it's not like a voice or telepathy or anything like that. It's like I just remembered something from last year, or I've just remembered something that I knew before. And they've always said to me, the answers are already inside, they're within you. So I was thinking, not regression or anything like that, not in my mind locked. It is, my mind is locked. They do block your mind somehow and make you
mm,
forget. I don't know. I think they do that for your own uh, self because this
sanity.
is very hard to take if it was a normal
Yeah.
person. I'm used to it now and it's been very gradual. And I think it's because I was that type of person. I don't know. But not everybody will be able to cope with all this, especially like I've left my camera on at night and watching it back the next morning. It was like watching paranormal activity. I'm not joking. My bed covers are getting dragged down. The mirror smashes off the wall in the other room. And I just sit up and I look around and I go back to sleep.
That was
I didn't
disturbing. What
even
is
get out of bed. It was so funny. That was funny. So, but this would frighten the life out of most people. I know my
yeah.
family are terrified. Little things happen when I'm over there. My cousin's something, and she's terrified of everything. You say boo, and she nearly faints. So a few things happened with her when I was there. And she was like, Ray, don't do anything, please. I don't want any orbs, don't want any creepy stuff. And something would happen. Her camera
Inevitable.
came on by itself. She said to me, please don't take any photos. And I said, oh, I won't, don't worry. And her camera just suddenly came on by itself on the
Oh.
on the table. We were watching TV and started taking pictures, like going, it was like on a timer, like 10, 9, 8, and the flash was going off, 10, 9, 8, and she was screaming, oh my God, oh my God. And she unplugged it and took out the battery and turned it off, and she was
Sure.
terrified, but we don't know what that was. After about an hour she put it back on, and the same thing happened again. She left it on the windowsill and this big flash came out, and I thought she screams were I thought she'd been hit by lightning because I saw the
Oh.
flash. She
Oh
screamed.
no.
She sounded like something really bad happened to her, but it was the phone coming on again, and she threw the phone away. She didn't want it. She had to get rid of it.
Wow.
Okay, get it out. She was terrified. I don't know what that was. It was something like, um, just for a laugh. Is somebody doing it for a laugh?
Right.
Just, oh, let's give them a fright. I don't know. But I think the ETs do little things like that to make you laugh. They're very fun. They have a sense of humor. I remember when they used to hide behind the tree and come out and go in. Well, I'd be like, no, but let me just take a picture. And they'd never let me take any pictures.
Of
But
course.
now they're coming all the time. I sit outside and one will come. I just look around and one will be there straight away.
That's
I like the
amazing.
nighttime ones because they have lights, you can see them, but the daytime ones are awesome as well. It's just, I wish I knew why. I did used to look into the program. Is there a program, ET hybrid program, like David Jacobs speaks about?
Right.
I don't think that's going on. No. If we were going by his calculations, we'd all be hybrids by now, everybody on Earth.
Oh yeah.
If we were going by his calculations.
That's true.
We'd all be taken over. He's been saying that since the 70s or something, hasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did actually have a couple of sessions with him. He came over to London to see me, and he was interested in taking on my case.
Oh wow.
But that's one person that was interested. It was a professor at Oxford University, and he's partners with David Jacobs now, and he's teaching him how to do regression, but I think it's a bad idea.
Why is
They're
that?
not qualified. Sorry?
I'm sorry.
What
Why do
is
you
it?
think regression's a bad idea?
Because they're not qualified, first of all, these people that are doing it. And plus, they're asking leading questions all the time. And he was asking leading questions and assuming I was going to give the same answers the other people he hypnotized, which I don't believe anything he says. I was saying different things and he was construing it differently to what I was saying. And it was very odd.
Mm.
It's odd the whole way around. And he gets you to sign this disclaimer, this thing, like a waiver. And what he says is, I won't give anybody your name and I won't reveal your private details and you're safe and blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, that's really good. Thank you for that. And I signed this thing. But what he's actually getting you to sign, he writes about you in his books, takes all your information,
Oh.
doesn't mention your name, so it could be anybody.
Yeah.
But his last book was all my stuff. I don't know, it was the last one, before the last one, the recent one, was mostly a lot of my stuff.
Oh
And
wow.
you don't get any credit for it. And he takes all the money and all the credit. But you think you're agreeing to something good, like, you kept confidential, nobody would be laughing at you and all this. So I thought that was a good idea.
Jeez.
But so he's doing that to everybody. So and another thing he lied about as well, he said he has thousands of clients and he's had loads of experience with hundreds of people, but he hasn't. He's only got a handful, like few.
Mm.
I think he mentioned 6 or something like that he actually does regression with. All the other records are from Bob Hopkins records. He took
Oh.
all that over. So he just studies all that. So that's all his experience,
Oh
all that he
man.
has, not with people of himself. It's all Bud Hopkins' work that he
I
has
see.
experience with. So he doesn't tell you that. He just said, I have loads of experience. I regress loads of people and loads of experience. But I think you know what you're saying, and you could easily fabricate anything. It's not foolproof. So if there's somebody lying, they could just lie. I could have said anything. It doesn't stop you from telling lies.
Gotcha.
So I have a problem with liars. There's so many, as we know. It's just, and a lot of the stuff, as we know now, was sort of fabricated. A lot of the information that we think we knew for sure, it's not really real. Because these beings, I don't think they're greys or reptilian. There's something else, absolutely something else out of this world. I don't think anyone has seen any yet. I've seen in the experience I had, I saw beings on my second time when I had missing time, and they were like energy. I call them energy beings because they were like golden energy, but they had a shape like a body, like shoulders, arms, head, like this, but no features. I mean, I remember the features in my mind, but not from another memory. They had brown eyes, I remember, like lovely brown, warm eyes, like sort of an animal in a way, like a giraffe. So you know, the lovely big eyes that giraffes
Yeah.
have are lovely and warm and friendly. The beings that I saw that time, they were just it was what it was in London, and I was having a cigarette out the window, and my sister was in hospital. She had late stage cancer, and they just told us that she was going to die the next day. So I was a bit upset, and my uncle was staying with me that night, and we were going to go back to the hospital the next morning. So I was at the window, and I lived on the 4th floor, and so I had a good view of all the sky out there. It was really good, and that's right. I used to get a lot of the UFOs. I'm not in London at the moment. I'm in my mum's house now, so it has a garden. I can go out and get more footage, but I saw this red light just went flying across the sky. I thought, oh wow, that was really cool. And I said to myself, okay, while you're there, can you help my sister? Is there anything you can do? You know, it should be easy for you. You should be well able to cure her if you want to. Please, can I ask you? Can you? And so I was just daydreaming and just staring out. Next of all, I saw this thing just came out from, I was on the fourth floor, there's two floors above me. This craft just came out, stuck its nose out over. So when I looked up, I just saw the nose. It turned out to be a triangle object, but I just
Oh,
saw the pointy bit at the top. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is so low. I've never
wow.
seen anything this low in my life. It was
That's
so low. It looked only a few feet above the building, and
right.
it came out halfway. And I saw, oh my God, this was like something off Independence Day with the lights, things spinning. It wasn't a smooth craft. This was a major craft of some kind with
Right.
things spinning, things moving. It was just busy. It was full all over, just absolutely full. Loads of little twinkly lights, not
Mm,
big lights, loads of little twinkly lights. I didn't
okay.
see any big lights. Like it kept dim because I think maybe because of where it was. I don't know. I didn't want to be seen. I don't know. It was huge,
Wow.
and but I don't know how it wouldn't be seen. I lived in a very busy area, Kensington in London,
Mm.
central London, and it's 24 hours on go,
Oh,
nightclubs,
okay.
bars, that kind of area, coffee shops everywhere, tourists and all that. So I just don't know how they appeared like that over my building. But I remember I grabbed my phone. I'm like, oh my God. I just had a grin from here to here. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't believe this. And I just could not believe I was looking at this thing. So I grabbed my phone and I thought I filmed it 4 minutes. And that's all I remember. And then it was morning or whatever. I think I'm telling my uncle, oh my God, you missed it last night.
Mm.
But it was about, that's what I thought happened. That's all I thought happened. But it was about 2 years later when I got some memories back and it was me going into the craft, like going up into the craft,
Oh,
and I
wow.
saw it. I saw it all open, and it was like inside. It was all controls, loads of controls. It really was like something off Star Trek or something like that. But
Okay,
it
I
had
was going to ask
loads of
you.
lights, loads of things going on. It definitely was a control room of some kind. And
Okay.
I remember floating up and up and up, and then it was like going pointy, like a pyramid. I don't know if there was that was in the craft or what, but what I remember was inside, it was huge in that control place. It was huge. So much bigger than it looked on the outside when I was looking
Oh,
at it.
had like a TARDIS
Because it
effect.
looked like it was a small craft, maybe a bit bigger than a helicopter or a bit
Okay.
bigger than that. But when I was on there and seeing the control room, it was huge, absolutely huge,
Crazy.
like really big. I was looking like a hangar, you know, that big, like all
Gotcha.
around, and it was just all lights everywhere and all things like that. I felt like a little dot, like a little particle or
Yeah,
something. I really did.
gotcha.
So I got up to the top, and I was in this just a room, a white room again with a white table, and there was four beings standing on the other side of the table, and I just saw, and I wasn't afraid. I remember I was in my own right mind, and you know they didn't block me or anything like that. I remember when I got the memories back, it brought everything back. When you see an image, and then it brings back
Mm.
everything surrounding that image
Yeah,
that
I've
happened
been
as
there.
well. So you get further and further. And I got a few images, still I remembered the whole lot. And then I remember there's four beings, two little small ones and two big ones. So I don't know if it was a family. I don't know. Maybe they were men and women. I really don't know. But the two big ones were about 6 or 7 feet, like tall like that, and the small ones were five-ish, 5.5 feet, something like that.
Okay.
But one of them, I remember the love that I felt from these beings. Oh my God, it was just amazing. They were just sort of conveying to me. I don't remember a voice, like conveying to me that they love me, I'm part of them, I'll be going with them afterwards.
Oh,
Don't worry about anything,
wow.
just don't worry and things like that. And we missed you. And it was like a long lost family that I hadn't seen for a long time, and we just met up, and I was so happy to see them, and I knew them really well. Don't know
Hmm.
how, but because that was the first image I ever had, I ever saw any beings like that.
And they
But the
were
little one, one of the little ones, put out a hand, like the shape of the hand was light,
okay.
but they could move like a flame as well. It was really
Hmm.
nice how they could move. So the hand came right over to me, like stretched, and I just took the hand straight away. And as I took hand, I got sucked in. And I remember we all merged, five of us together, and swirling around like a big white swirl. And then suddenly I found myself in space or something like that. I was like a particle, a little dot flying, seeing all the galaxies, and
Hmm.
just I don't know where I was. I think I was a particle in space. That's the only thing I can relate it to. That's what it felt like. And I knew everything that these beings knew. I connected with them. We all connected together. And I knew, and it was like I was so happy because that's what I want most in the
Mhm.
world is to know what these beings know. And
Right.
I want to know everything. And I was thinking, oh, this is fantastic. Oh my God, I can't believe this. And it was like I just felt at home. I was home. This is what it felt like to me. And this is like an alien planet. And then that's all I remember. That's all I remember. They just assured me that don't worry, we love you so much and we care about you and things like that. And the love I felt, it just made me cry with emotion when I remembered it. It was just so strong. And I'm thinking, am I related to these beings? Or
Mm.
what does that mean then? Why don't they tell? Well, if they tell you, maybe they put you here to learn about life as a human or something.
Yeah,
And if they
maybe.
tell you that the game's up, then it won't be any fun. And I said, it seems like I said, give it to me all. I want to experience everything. So I've had so much chaos in life, like with deaths in the family and things like that. I've had a
Yeah.
lot of deaths, sister and a brother and a daughter and mom, all at the same time, within a few years of each other.
Wow.
So it's like I said, give it to me all. I want to feel everything a human feels. I feel like that sometimes. And I just wish I knew more. That's my wish is that I want to know more why these beings are connected to me for so long. And I'm sure there's other people as well. I'm not the only one in this boat, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure there's a few, aren't there?
I would think so. I would
I
think
can't be
so.
the only one on Earth. I'm not that unlucky or lucky. I'm not that naive to think that. But it's hard to meet these people. It's hard to believe other people. There's a lot of storytellers and a lot of people making money and
Yeah.
things like that and ridiculous stuff. So it makes it sad for the people who actually have real experience that they don't want to come forward. I mean, I nearly gave up coming forward. I just didn't want to know anymore after all the drama and everything else in the past.
Mm.
And I just thought I'd get on with it and just take it. And if something great does happen and I get great footage, I'll put it up. But otherwise, just keep it all to yourself. But then it's not fair to everybody else because everyone wants information. And then I feel they're giving me all this to show people. This is why they're letting me get the footage, I'm sure. What other reason would there be,
Yeah.
all this? I can't see any other reason that they
So
would be.
would you then say that there is a message from these beings that you were meant to relay? And if
The
so, what
message
is that
I
message?
got from was another experience. I had two missing times. And the first one, didn't see the beings, but they were talking to me in my head, like it,
Telepathy.
sort of like a voice. It was like a knowing as well.
Okay.
It's very weird. It's like you just know, even though you
Yeah.
don't hear it, you just know if
Right.
they look at you or something, or so, I don't know if that's what happens, but it's something like that. You just know they put a knowing in your head, and
Mm.
it's like I knew this before. It's not something new. So the messages they gave, what I saw a lot of plants on the ship, loads of plants, and they told me I could ask two questions. So I asked what was the plants for, and they said they're for the new planet Earth. And that was in 1998. I got this, I heard this. So the new planet Earth. And I said, oh, okay. And then I saw a lot of people on board as well. They were all being shown images like on a screen or something in the air. I don't know. It wasn't a screen as such. It was like
Like
in
a
the
would you
air.
say like a holographic projection?
Yeah, like holograph. And they were all like looking at these images. And I saw the images over one woman's shoulder. There's all these people in lines like that, just all standing like zombies. Nobody was very quiet. Nobody was saying anything. And they said to me, "You can ask your second question." After I saw the images, though, so the image I saw was, it was just a lovely, lovely scene of the earth, lovely like the Garden of Paradise, lovely trees, flowers, fish jumping up, animals everywhere, just like you'd see in a lovely, film. And then something black came over the screen like that. And then it just all went black. And then there was this stuff coming up out of the earth, like it was like quicksand, but like oil as well, oily
Hmm.
quicksand coming up out of the earth,
Okay.
all like that. And everything was dead. It killed everything. It was in the sea. Trees were all dead. All the animals, the hooves were sticking up. Fish were all just floating and dead. And this stuff was just covering the earth from, it seemed to me to be coming up out of the ground.
Wow.
And I was thinking afterwards, was it oil? Maybe they've got oil things that they haven't closed properly and they just let them seep into the earth. It's not cost effective or whatever. They do things like this. So I was thinking of all this, but it looked grey as well. The sun was gone, just grey. Everything was grey, dark grey,
Wow.
and there was no light. And I thought, is this something like a comet hits us or something like that? Or something definitely happened to the earth. And I'm thinking this was a future thing. So they asked me, they said you can ask your second question. So that's the only things they uttered. I heard just you can ask two questions. That was all I heard and all I remembered. And my second question was, what's happening with all these people? What are you doing? And they said, the voice said, they're being categorized. So that's all. They're being categorized. So I was thinking, oh my God, what does it mean? Everything has gone through my head. I was thinking, are people going to be evacuated from Earth at some stage? Are they being put into sections where you go there, you go there, you go there?
Hmm.
How are they being categorized? I think their emotions were being monitored according to what they were seeing on the screens.
That makes
I
sense.
think that's the only thing I can think of. And either they weren't affected by it, they were affected by it, they were hurt,
Wow.
things like that. And so I think something may happen in my lifetime. Otherwise, why would I be showing this?
Yeah, right.
So I
No,
haven't had anything further than that.
that's in, wow, that's a lot. That's just an amazing image.
I'm just
Wow.
left with them for, since, as I said, since 1998. The missing time was so my daughter woke up screaming. She was in bed and she'd had a nightmare. I thought she'd had a nightmare, but she was calling, Mommy, Mommy. And she never used to wake up in bed. She was a great sleeper, didn't mind the dark or anything. She wasn't like me. I was under the bed and all this. So I ran in to see what was wrong. And she said, the building's falling down, the building's falling down. She thought the whole building was wobbling. And
Oh,
I said, oh, you must be dreaming. It's obviously a dream. She said, it's not a dream, it's not a dream. She said everything in the room was shaking, rattling, everything, all her little things on the shelves, everything was shaking. So she said, can I sleep in your bed? And I said, yeah, sure. She never asked that before. So we're lying on the bed, and I was like telling her a few jokes, trying to get her mind off and get to sleep, whatever. And through the gap in the curtain, the curtains, through the gap in the curtain, this light came in. It was like a laser, really thin point, got me right in the eye, like, phew. And I'm
oof.
thinking, what the hell was that? It didn't hurt. It was just got my attention.
Yeah.
And I thought, what was that? Because there's no lights out there that high up like that. No neighbors, nothing shining in my apartment like that. And I looked out and there was this huge, I called it a glowy ball because I didn't know what to call it. They're orbs now, obviously, we call them orbs. But in 1998, they
Yeah.
weren't orbs. I didn't know what to call them. I used to call them sphere shaped, but this was a huge glowy ball. It was it was like the moon had fallen down, but the moon was there, as bright as the moon, absolutely huge, over the rooftops of the building opposite me, so I could see it from away.
Okay.
So I ran into my husband. We were watching a movie, and it was about 10 to 1, and it was just coming to the end of the movie because we'd work and everything. And I ran in, look at this, quick, it's a UFO. And I don't know what he said. He looked out, and I don't know what he said. It just went from there. I ran back to the bedroom, and I was looking out the window. My daughter's next to me, and I know it was probably 1 o'clock at that time. Next thing I knew, what felt like 2 minutes, it was suddenly 6 a.m. and it was bright outside. The object was still there, but it was yellow and golden, a lovely golden color. And then it just turned to mist and disappeared. Didn't fly off, didn't zoom anywhere. It just
Wow.
literally disappeared, disintegrated. I actually have one of the orbs on. I think I posted it yesterday. Of it disappearing, a big orb came down at night. and saying, "Oh, it came too near, it frightened me a little bit." But that disappears if you look at it till the end. It
I'll
just
look at that too.
disintegrates. It doesn't go. Light doesn't go off. It disintegrates. It's weird. It's weird. That's what
That,
happened, and then I just went about my business. Didn't remember anything about the UFO for weeks later, and suddenly it came to me when somebody mentioned a UFO at work. I suddenly remembered, oh my God, that UFO. Couldn't
mm,
wait to come home and talk to my husband and my daughter about it. They remembered what I remembered up to the window. He remembers me running in saying, "Look at the UFO." And my daughter kept saying, "You kept saying it was a dream. It was not a dream." And I didn't really want to question her further because I didn't want to frighten her. And I always kept it secret, let my daughter tell me herself if anything did happen. But I think she was having experiences as well,
mm,
strange dreams and things like that she'd have. And then she'd say, "It wasn't a dream, it wasn't a dream."
yeah, yeah,
And I didn't push anything. I didn't really talk about what. I mean, she knew I filmed UFOs, but we took it as funny, as a funny way. I didn't really go into any abduction kind of things, or
sure.
they're taking you. Are they doing tests? I didn't know. Are they doing tests on humans? I don't know.
Mm,
This is what David Jacobs thinks, and all the programming, the implants are doing things. But I did have a strange dream the other day, first time in my life. I was sleeping in bed and suddenly I was unbelievable pain in my two arms, just here at the
oh,
joints, right on the nerves. And it woke me up and I'm like, oh my God. And I felt it about 5 times, like stab. And then I went back to sleep. Well, the next morning I had a huge purple mark on my arm there. And it disappeared the next day. It was just gone. But I
wow.
had a horrible dream that somebody was pulling my nerves out of my arm
Oh,
and cutting them up in like samples. They were like the red threads, cutting these up, and there was a bowl there, and all these were in the bowl. I thought, why on earth? How could I
jeez.
think of something like that?
Oh
That's the
man,
only time I've ever had a strange dream or people
that's
doing stuff to me. But it was
horrific.
strange that I had the mark saying I don't know what the mark was, and especially it was like a big bruise, and
Mm,
I could send you a picture of it, and it just was gone the next day, just completely, not even a trace
wow.
left, just gone. That's never happened before,
Hmm.
never. Normally a bruise and fade
Briefly,
away.
I want to go back to the aliens you experienced.
Yeah,
You said they were made of energy, human form, but more or less energy.
golden. Yeah,
Yeah. I also have had an alien experience.
have you?
I don't know if you listened to Tommy's show, the show I did with, where he
Oh
interviewed you.
no, I'll look at that tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, you'll hear this story.
I'm looking for something to watch tonight.
But I did see physical aliens out in the
Oh,
world, and it was the ones described as the tall whites. They're the ones that
all
are
right. Yeah.
they're like the adults are like 7 foot,
Yeah.
kind of stringy white hair, and they have the bigger eyes, almost like grays do, but they're a
Okay.
little bit smaller. Like
Okay.
if you it would suck up the entire orbital socket of my face, that would be their
Yeah.
eye. And yeah, I saw, and they have extra long fingers, like really long fingers. So I did see these creatures for myself. I'm
Did they
open
say
to.
anything?
Sorry?
Did they say anything to you?
No, no. What the scenario that played out before me was, this was life. I was doing a DJ job, and I was loading speakers into a cargo van with my partner on the job, and I see this taller than normal girl. I call her maybe 10, 11, or 12 as far as her height told me, right? But she's playing with 3, 4, 5 year olds, and they're all running in a circle playing like a loose game of tag or something like that. And then this this is 2002, so brand new VW Bug, those domey looking ones, those really newer looking VW Bugs
Oh yeah.
pulls up. And she loses her little mind and she starts pointing like super emphatically. No words are coming out of her mouth, but she's pointing, she's walking over to it, and she keeps looking back. No words are being spoken. And so I follow her line of sight to this tall woman in what I can only describe as Jedi robes, for lack of a better term. And there's a hint of a breast, so I'm thinking female. super tall, 6'5", 7 foot, maybe, really tall. And she doesn't say a thing. She says, except for gestures, she says, "Stop, come here now." you know, and the kid had a really human reaction, for lack of a better term. And she goes over and she stomps. I don't want to do the. But the thing was, she and her mom had alabaster white skin, like albino-ish white skin, hair that was also very white. Both wore oversized sunglasses, so you couldn't see their eyes at all, and they kind of curved around a little bit. And they had both mom and daughter had these extra long fingers. Like if I took my fingers on top of my other fingers, that's
Yeah.
how long they
Wow.
were. And and mom was suddenly flanked by these two men in black. I mean, they were wearing the suits and everything, except they had driver's cut trench coats on. One was beige and one was like a kind of a bright, like a darker blue, but it was somehow bright at the same time. I can't really pinpoint a color as far as that is concerned. Maybe like a darker aquamarine, if you will.
Yeah.
And one does this, and suddenly a limo comes out of nowhere, picks everyone up. They all climb into the back and they're gone. And but these creatures were not human at all. I mean,
just out in public though, I thought.
Just running around in public. Yeah. And I heard something the week before on George Norrie, Coast to Coast. And it was Carl. I'm going to mess up his last name. We'll call him Carl for now because I can't remember his last name. And he was describing these creatures that he encountered when he was in the Air Force, U.S. Air Force. And they were these creatures. And he mentioned in his interview that these creatures have been in contact with the U.S. since like the 50s or 60s or something like that. And they had kind of a VIP status and they could visit certain places.
I think
New
I've
York.
heard of something, yeah.
Yeah. Like Vegas. Like an alien really wouldn't stand out in Vegas, New York City,
or London.
downtown New York City. No, they would not stand out.
Yeah.
L.A., somewhere in the sunset,
London.
they wouldn't stand out at all. And apparently at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk as well. And there are a lot of weird people down there too. So if it weren't for the super long fingers, I never would have taken the second notice.
And then people are getting all these modifications done now, aren't they?
Well,
To
this
their
was
faces
back in
and eyes and
2002,
all.
but to do it to your child too?
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
sounds weird.
that sounds off. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Some people, there's a couple of people that want to look like aliens and have done the eyes and
I've
really
seen
look
that.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
They
oh,
get
it's
the
weird.
eyes cut just so, yeah.
Yeah, we've gone a bit too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, this to do that to your little girl too, and the two government agents standing next to this extra tall female was
That's
put it
weird.
over the top for me. But
Yeah.
that
That looks too strange to
was
be
super strange.
normal.
Yeah, it was definitely out of the ordinary.
Yeah. Gosh. I think your body or you sort of your senses know when there's something not right. Do you think?
Well,
You,
yeah,
you get
I do
your
think that because during that
sense.
experience, I could not stop watching. I was kind of doing everything
Yeah.
else by rote, I was here. I need that
Yeah.
speaker. Yeah, here you go. I need those cables. Yeah, here you go.
I think I would have been as well. I'll be glued.
Yeah, it was just I couldn't stop looking at these people. It was because they were just so weird looking, with the long fingers
Yeah.
and the strange shit. But
That
yeah,
sounds like something of a horror movie, really.
almost does, doesn't it? But it
Yeah.
really
It
happened.
is.
It really happened.
Yeah.
And I checked with my buddy too. I said, dude, make sure I'm not seeing things. You see that girl over there? You see that
Did you
lady?
see it? Yeah.
Look at the fingers, man. He says, oh, wow, that's weird. And goes right back to work. It's like he could care less. He's just there to make money. But he verified it, you know? So,
Oh,
but that was interesting,
yeah.
to say the least. So you'll get a little more in depth when you listen to Tommy's show. But so
Yeah, I'll have a look, definitely.
yeah. So if there's nothing else, I guess we'll wrap it up unless you have something else to add.
Not really. I think I'm all talked out for now. I've done quite a few. Well, not quite a few. I've done 3 podcasts this week.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Well, then
Yeah.
we'll call it an interview. Thank you so much, Marie, for being on the show.
Oh, thank you for asking me. It's been great. It's been a pleasure.
It has been great. You have wonderful stories, and send me if you could send me everything you talked about so I could put it up. That would be
Okay, yeah.
awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Tim Sedano, host of Paranormal Insight, and tonight's guest has been Marie Kayali. Thank you very much. See you next week. Thank you for watching and listening. Please click the subscribe button and activate notifications for future episodes and other content. If you have a paranormal experience that you would like to discuss on the show, please email us at paranormal.insight.podcast@gmail.com. That's paranormal.insight.podcast@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook and Instagram under paranormal.insight.podcast